Previously on the Bear Whisperer.
Now notice, she's not playing anymore. She knows she's close. She can hear that call. She knows she's in striking distance. She is not playing. She's coming in to eat. Now in this situation, if you're in the thick woods, you might be in trouble. One more fight call, pretending like we're another bear, actually, with the same, kind of speaking her language. We're telling her, yeah, we're willing to fight you. Here she comes again. In this particular situation, we weren't torturing the bears. We did this for humans, for hunters. The bottom line, irregardless, is now you have a much better understanding of how bears react when they're coming into a call, when they're coming in aggressively. We're about to get in when they come in stealth mode. All right, so this next bear that we call in is much closer to the conditions of the bear hunt you're about to watch. The only difference is with the bear hunt you're about to watch, I'm in the thick woods of Canada with a bow. We're back at Pink Mountain Outfitters, and this is a great example because we've actually filmed this a little bit in the open. He's kind of coming down the road of how a bear is going to come in stealth mode, contrary to what you just watched, which was the bear coming in full charge evil mode. This bear's coming in a lot more like a Navy SEAL. And unlike filming in the woods, you actually get to see what this bear does. Unlike the hunt, we only see the bear when he's there. This is a lot more in the open, so you can actually see what my bear was doing as he was coming in while we're hunting in the woods, but this is filmed in the wide open. Now notice, instead of charging in, this bear's coming into the call, but he's being very, very careful. Now if you notice, one thing that is exactly the same, one thing that is not different, and the one thing that you have to remember when you're calling bears is, notice this bear. When the call stops, he stops. This bear actually, when you stop calling, he actually turns around and tries to walk away. He doesn't even care. If you're not calling, he doesn't care. He figures it's over. So this is why when you're calling a bear, you need to call until you see the bear. You keep wailing away until that bear is in shooting range, because if you don't, the more hesitations, the more time between calling you take, the much, much, much better odds that you'll never ever see that bear. He'll eventually just walk away. Now, as you can see, this bear, when he's coming in, once he thinks he's in pouncing range, once he can hear that the animal is nice and close, he's going to go into an ultra stealth mode where you can see, even in this video, he's in the middle of the road coming down. He knows right off the bat that he's close, and when he gets that close, he actually runs and darts behind a tree. And he's hiding in the bushes, he's hiding in the trees, and he's looking. Now what that bear is going to do is he's actually going to sit there and look and look and look. He knows he's in striking distance. He knows that he should be able to see whatever's making that noise. He's not moving at this point until he sees what's making that noise. He might be only 15 yards away, but he is going to sit behind that tree, or he's going to crawl and be very stealth-like and keep getting behind trees, getting into bushes until he can physically see what his prey is. Now this would be a really, really good time if it's legal, and you need to check on this. If it's legal, if you can put out a decoy. Same kind of decoy that you use for coyotes or whatever, just some sort of rabbit, just something with a tail, something moving. So when that bear comes in and he gets in that ultra stealth mode, he can peer, and eventually see his prey. At that point, this bear that you're watching in this video would have ran in and literally pounced on the prey. There was no prey there. We were calling the bear, and we just ran into a perfect situation where the guys at Pink Mountain Outfitters had the bear come in doing the stealth mode stalk as someone's calling. It was just a perfect video to show you the other way a bear's going to come in while you're calling. Now let's go do this thing for real on a moose-killing, dangerous bear in New Brunswick, Canada.
Dude, how does this crazy stuff only happen to me?
This is a first for us. We're sitting at home. We're actually editing shows. I think A-Way Outdoors, actually. And we had a phone call from New Brunswick, which is essentially looking for us to come up there and take care of a bear. And it is about 20 minutes later. And we're actually going up there next week anyway. My friend Paul Biggs from Own the Zone's coming up, and we're having a big hunt party in New Brunswick for bears. And we're essentially headed up now where there's a bear up there that is killing animals, which is fairly scary. Bears really don't want to kill animals, and it's springtime, it's May, and they're actually nervous for people walking around, other hunters, so on and so forth. So they came up and asked how quick we could get this bear. And I said, I don't have any idea. We got to go up there and investigate. So we're on our way up to investigate to get an animal, moose, rabbit, deer killing bear. And there's no bait up there. We know the area real good. We know where their bait sites used to be. So we know the area really, really good. So with any luck, we can get on this bear. We grabbed a call from Black Falcon Game Calls they made just for us, which is a cub in distress, which works awesome in the springtime. The boars will come running in. So we are essentially going to go up there and try to call this bear, set up some ground blinds, investigate the area, and we ought to be there in a minute. A minute being about 2.5 hours. We're driving up. I already know how we're going to try to get this bear. He's eating meat. He's eating small game. He's eating big game. I'm convinced New Brunswick's telling me he's eating everything. Everything that isn't bigger than him, and even things that are bigger than him, he's taken down. So I already know that the only way I'm going to get this bear is by calling him. So we get up there. We are showed the area in detail, and we actually kind of know this area. We've hunted up there in the past, about 4 years ago. And so we've showed the back roads, we're showing the terrain, we're showing where the kills were, where they picked him up, what he had for game, and there was just a ton of them. I almost couldn't believe it, but you got to believe that they know what they're talking about, if not even more than me. They've seen more animals killed by bears, I'm sure, than I have, being foresters and being, this is what they do all day long. I do bears, they do everything up in these big woods. So we get there, we're driving around and we're looking and we're talking and we're joking and we're trying to find the best place to set up on this bear. And I'm talking to Jason, I look off to my left down a side road to see what I can see, and there lies one of the bear's victims. We're definitely in the right area. I ain't really got a whole lot to say. I mean, this is sad, but this is exactly why we drove 3.5 hours from Maine to get up here
To see something like this is just a shame. I mean, truly a shame. They're having lotteries for these moose in Maine and New Brunswick, and to have bears, you know, these meat eater bears. We make jokes about their man-eater bears, but these meat-eater bears, they're not just dangerous to the moose and the rabbits and the other wildlife around. When they get predatorial like this and they quit eating grass and they kind of get a taste for meat, they start getting dangerous for hunters and, you know, people walking their dogs and people in their houses. And if this guy were to ever leave these big woods, he'd be an unbelievably dangerous bear. When a bear gets like this, taking down a big animal like this, I mean, this isn't a monster cow or anything, but it's a solid, you know, 1.5, 2.5-year-old cow, just small enough for a bear to be able to take it down and do this to it. So we were a little worried that maybe this bear wasn't as aggressive as they were telling us he was, but he obviously is. So yeah, we're gonna set up here for sure. We're gonna go back up that hill where we just came from, and we're gonna get on top, set up a ground blind, and wail on the call starting tonight. This is horrible, man.
Now, I gotta tell you, after seeing this moose, it wasn't a full-grown moose. It would be more considered on the calf size, even though it was very, very large. It was getting old. I felt a sense of revenge that, besides the fact that I needed to get this bear out of here to save wildlife, I felt a sense of revenge, like I needed to avenge all of this wildlife that this bear was just running around and killing needlessly, not finished eating, almost like a hunter that just kills and leaves something in the woods. Absolutely pathetic for a hunter to do that. It's absolutely pathetic for this bear to just kill, eat the hind quarter of a moose, leave and move on to its next victim, most of the meat spoiling and being fed to crows and coyotes. So after surveying the area, essentially the entire area that we'll call it the killing grounds, in the killing grounds, there was one spot that came up. There's hills and valleys. This is not flatland. This is not Nebraska. There's hills, valleys, and everything, but there was one spot at the top of a peak that came up, crested, I'm gonna guess 50 yards, and came back down. It was the highest point, the most blatant highest point in this area, in the killing grounds. And that, without a doubt, was the first place I wanted to go. These bears, during these hot summer months, they get down into these gullies, they get down into these swamps. They're just constantly trying to stay cool, or they're constantly trying to stay safe, or they're trying to be a predator and stay up high, where I knew that this bear was an absolute predator, constantly looking for victims, constantly looking for his next meal on 4 legs. I knew that the high ground should put me closer to this bear. So we go in and we are walking all through the woods. We're quite a ways off from the truck, but we find this one small opening, and I'm gonna guess maybe 30 or 40 yards one way, maybe 30 or 40, almost a circle, 30, 40 yard circle, let's say, but it's open. And that's what we need. I need time to see this bear. I can't have this bear coming up on me. And the second consideration is I just can't sit up against a tree. It's not dangerous, it's not smart, it's dumb hunting is what it is, especially when you're hunting an aggressive bear. So we find this area, and then off to the side of this area, we find this rock. And when I say rock, I'm not talking about a rock. I'm talking about a rock that's about 15 foot tall, and down one side was a straight cliff. No chance a bear can climb it. There's no trees around it. It was literally a cliff down, and the best part was there was bear scat everywhere. So definitely doesn't mean it's our bear, but there's bear scat everywhere, meaning that bears frequent this area. So I think that I have literally found the perfect area. A place that we can set up a ground blind, get in the ground blind, look out one way, completely protected behind me, which I showed you and talked about in previous episodes of protecting yourself, protecting your back from a bear coming in from behind you while you're calling. We got a ground blind up so the bear can't literally see us in the wide open. I have my bow, so having the ability to draw and shoot before the bear gets me or before the bear spots me and runs away is a must. I'm absolutely positive this is a perfect spot. So we set up the ground blind, we survey the area, we're looking around, Everything looks great. We're finding bear scat, and if you walk through the woods, I don't care where you're at, that's even fairly rare to find when you're walking through woods is bear scat. We found 3 or 4 piles of it all in this 40-yard area. Now, my problem is I have a bow. So a bear charging in, a bear coming in, even a bear in stealth mode is I'm gonna need to stop this bear. I need to be able to get a shot at this bear. So what I wanna do is I wanna try to stop this bear. Perfectly legal. I grabbed my Conquest scents. What I did was go out with the Conquest and put it on some rocks, put it on some dirt, even up a little tree a little bit. But I got this scent out there, so when the bear comes in, I'm kind of rolling the dice that this bear will come in, it will stop and smell something unfamiliar but not bad, and it will stop and sniff it. It smells a little bit like food. And these bears have been around baits their whole life. I don't care where you go in New Brunswick, there's been a bear bait within a mile of almost every place in the woods. So I put the anise on the rock, we leave, we go visit some friends, and we come back. Well, put some more anise on the rock, we climb into the ground blind, and no sense wasting any time, I start wailing away on this call. So I am calling and calling and calling because I know what it takes to get a bear in when you're calling. And I'm calling some more and calling and calling and calling. I literally wear myself out calling, out of breath, breathing hard, literally killing myself in this ground blind, wailing away. I just can't call anymore. So I stopped calling. But as I taught you before, I have in my mind what this bear's doing, what this bear's gonna do, what this bear can potentially do. I know I need to take a break, get my breath back, and start calling again, which I continue to do. And I know I'm gonna be wailing away for another 10 or 15 minutes or until that bear is where I need him to be or pretty darn close. Well, as you can see, right when I released, this bear decides to take a step to the right, wham, complete miss. I can't believe it. I didn't actually see the bear step to the right. My cameraman Jason saw it, and I'm going, we got to get out of here because there's just no way I could have missed at 20 yards, 19 yards, whatever it was. And Jason says, no, man, that bear was walking away. I mean, trust me, that bear turned right and your arrow went zip through him. So he convinces me to stay, so I get on the call again. Well, here he comes. He's coming right back, just like I knew he would. He's a little more cautious this time. I'm just hoping to get a shot.
Next week on The Bear Whisperer.